Hi guys, today we're going to read the next chapter in Indian Shoes, and as we're reading we're going to look for creative language. Guess who's coming to dinner? A cut pine glowed in crimson bubble lights. Flames danced in the fireplace. A newly arrived card from Jonah and Nancy Lee stood among those gathered on the mantel. Christmas cards, huh? Frosty webs clung to window panes and the wind groaned against the rooftop. I'm going to pause for a minute and I'm going to tell you about something. The word behind me, we have personification. I know that's a really big word, but it is a type of creative language. And so at the beginning of this word, you might see person, personification. It's when we describe something that's not a person, like the wind, and we describe it like it is a person. The wind groaned against the rooftop. This was the first Christmas Day that Ray and Grandpa Half Moon hadn't celebrated with family in Oklahoma, but last week, the pickup had quit for good. Just as well, Grandpa had said, what with the roads so slick. While riding the rattling train home from church, Ray had promised himself to act merry, or happy, anyway, for Grandpa's sake. Snow swirled around Ray and Grandpa Half Moon as they waded through the drifts beneath the ice-sculpted maples to the Murphy home. Glittering snowflakes smacked wet against Ray's cheeks and clouded the morning midday sky. When it says snowflakes smacked his cheeks, smacked is more of a person, right? We would say that snowflakes landed on his cheek. But anyway, there's another example. Snowflakes smacked. What great detail. In the Murphy family kitchenette, Ray said, "Merry Christmas," to Prince, who yipped and tripped over his paws and slipped on the linoleum. Ray searched for the biscuit box while Grandpa escorted Prince onto the back step to do his business. When it was time to leave, Ray rubbed Prince's belly and said, "It's tough being alone on holidays." Ray's and Grandpa's breath puffed cloudy as they trudged next door to the Wang house. In the driveway, Mrs. Wang's VW Bug, that's a car, her VW Bug, Volkswagen, waited to be freed from the snow like a triceratops skeleton embedded in the rock. Oh, you guys, there's another creative language. It's called a simile. When we compare two things and we use a word like or as, that's a simile. Let me go back and see. What are we comparing? The VW Bug, the car, waited to be freed from the snow like a triceratops skeleton embedded in the rock. We're comparing the car to like a dinosaur stuck in rock. The car is stuck in snow. The dinosaur is stuck in a rock. A simile. Inside Mrs. Wang's home office, Grandpa said, "Good tidings," to Tank, who snoozed in his shell, and to Eugenia the parrot, who replied, "Feliz Navidad." While Grandpa spied on Tank, Ray refilled Eugenia's seed mix and offered her a farewell cookie. "Poor Eugenia," Grandpa said, tugging his forest green cap over his ears. "Tank's lousy company this time of year." "Bye, Eugenia," Ray said, pulling on his wool-lined mittens. "Feliz Navidad," Eugenia chirped. Ray and Grandpa tromped 2 doors down to the Onzi home. Sleet caught in Grandpa's shoulder-length ponytail and Ray's teeth clattered like old bones. Ooh, there's another simile. We're comparing two things. Ray's teeth clattered like old bones. In the Onnies' living room, Ray wrinkled his nose and said, "Happy holidays," to Mama Ferret and her kittens, who slinked below the plush L-shaped pit sofa. "It's kind of smelly in here, aren't they?" Ray asked, unwrapping his scarf. "Yep," Grandpa Half Moon replied. Ray cleaned the litter boxes and refilled the food and water bowls. Meanwhile, Grandpa flicked the feather toy until the ferret family emerged to tumble and play tag. But one kit wouldn't have any of that. The runt, the smallest ferret, raced back and forth with chow in his teeth, snatching from the bowl and hiding it beneath the sofa. "Poor Mama," Grandpa Half Moon said. "She sure has her paws full." Ray and Grandpa slid through the slush across the street to the Wilson home. Layers of cotton and flannel and denim and down weren't enough to still their shivers and keep the goosebumps from rising on their skin. Inside Mr. Willis's studio, Grandpa said, "Season's greetings," to Legs, who blinked at him with 8 eyes. What has 8 eyes? Ray gave her crickets to munch, while Grandpa served up a juicy earthworm. Legs gnawed the squirmy worm first. "Ooh." "I'm partial to Legs," Grandpa Half Moon said. "She has a beautiful soul." The sky deepened to murky twilight as Ray and Grandpa shuffled back to their brick bungalow. Ray's lungs ached from the frigid air, and the wind whooshed away the crunchy boot prints he and Grandpa left behind them. In front of their toasty fire, Ray sipped steaming cocoa while Grandpa sank into his worn recliner and clicked on the evening news. Ray watched stories about Santa, soup kitchens, and ice skaters on State Street, from the O'Hare Airport to Lakeshore Drive. The storm blanketed Ray's steel and stone city in glistening white. Entire blocks had lost power, and repairs lagged hours, even days behind. This is a bad storm, isn't it? "Check on your neighbors," the reporter warned. "Cold can be deadly fast." Though memories of Aunt Wilhelmina's pecan pie, Uncle Leonard's hearty chuckle, and the Elvis Christmas CD haunted Ray, at least he had the glow of the crimson bubble lights, the steam of the cocoa, turkey roasting in kitchen, and Grandpa for company. Could be a lot worse, Ray thought. Just as he swallowed his last sip of cocoa, the TV screen and the ceiling fan bulb flickered off. The bubble lights died, dulled the pine tree, and the gurgling heater fell silent. Grandpa climbed out of his recliner, strode to the window, and peered outside. "Street lights are out," he said. "I'm guessing the whole block at least." "Oh no! All the pets!" Ray exclaimed, moving to his side. "What about the pets, Grandpa?" Grandpa Half Moon slung an arm around Ray's shoulder. "We can't very well build a fire at every home on the block, but, let's see how we're faring first. Let's see how we're going to do first. The power has gone out." Ray trudged after Grandpa into the shadowy, cramped kitchen and watched him take a pan of half-cooked turkey legs out of the oven. The plastic package of frozen okra and the rice pilaf were still ice blocks in the freezer. The brownies were still powder in the box. Nothing's ready to eat. No road trip, no Aunt Wilhelmina or Uncle Leonard, and now no holiday meal. It was the worst Christmas ever, but all Ray could think about was Prince, Tank, Eugenia, Mama Ferret, her kits, and Legs. "Too bad their families left them all alone," Ray grumbled, setting his empty mug next to the sink. "Too bad the pets can't just come over here." Right then, Grandpa Half Moon's eyes crinkled, and Ray grinned for the first time all day. "Why not?" they said together. It took Ray's wooden sled, Grandpa's squeaky wheelbarrow, 2 oversized beach towels, and a couple of pets' own zip-up carriers. It took some ruffling fur and feathers and leg hair and nerves. It took more than an hour of wading through the drifts beneath branches draped by icicles and listening to Eugenia chirp, "Melikilaki Maka," which meant Merry Christmas in Hawaiian. But finally, Tank the turtle, hibernating in his aquarium, Eugenia the parrot, chatting on her swing, Mama Ferret and her kittens tumbling in their cage, and Legs the tarantula, sauntering in his giant plastic skull, they had all settled in the Half Moon family room. Prince, the fox-faced Pomeranian, curled on the matted shag carpet in front of the fireplace. What great description, huh? They tell exactly where each animal is located. To Ray and Grandpa Half Moon, the giant marshmallows, scavenged from the cabinet, roasted over the flames, tasted charred and chewy and sweet. And even though the blizzard was blustering, the bubble lights had died. The turkey legs were ruined. The pickup had puttered out. The road trip was canceled and the rest of their family had gathered miles away. Christmas suddenly seemed like Christmas. Ray laughed at the frolicking ferrets. They're kind of like rats, but funny, he said. More like polecats, Grandpa said, downing a marshmallow. How about you pick out a kit? A baby ferret. I told the Honesties that we'd take one of those smelly ferrets if that suits you. It did. Ray noticed the ferret runt eyeing his marshmallow. From now on, Ray planned to keep watch for swiped treasures beneath the couch. I'm gonna call him Bandit, he announced. Thanks, Grandpa. Merry Christmas, Grandpa Half Moon replied. And then Eugenia squawked, Happy New Year! And that's the end of our chapter. All right, so we've heard some creative language as we read. We learned what personification was. We found some similes when we compare two things using like or as. What I want you to do when you're reading today is you're just gonna be a detective. As you're reading, you are searching for some creative language. See if you find anything today. We'll talk about it in our small group.